Tony Romo kind of shocked us how good he was. Aikman's great. Collinsworth is great. But would you have known, like, when they broke into the league, those will be the best analysts? Bradshaw's obviously, Howie Long. There's been a lot of guys that aren't very good because they play the game, they don't know the game, and they don't think the game. Brett Favre says a lot of stuff that's nonsense. But what he said yesterday on his Sirius show, it doesn't have to be right, but I was very happy. I like what is happening now with Favre and Aaron Rodgers. Here you go.
I think he, aside from the Super Bowls, he may be the greatest player ever. I say this all the time. Tom Brady is the greatest player ever if we're measuring from a Super Bowl. And statistic-wise, Tom has put up tremendous statistics and has won 6 Super Bowls. But Aaron is, believe me, the Packers are good year in and year out because of him. And his statistics certainly speak for themselves.
All right, so let me start with this. Aaron is the MVP of the league, not just this year, but there's no question. It's a franchise that doesn't have an owner and can't get free agents. It's the smallest market of any pro team. Aaron is the most valuable player in this league, like LeBron's been for the last 15 years every year. Aaron's the most valuable player in this league. The Chiefs have gone to a lot of playoff games without Patrick Mahomes. Andy Reid's won a lot of games with a lot of quarterbacks. The Chiefs aren't as good without Patrick, but the Chiefs would be viable with this roster without Patrick Mahomes. They'd be viable. They were viable, and the roster was less talented than this. Green Bay's a mess without Aaron Rodgers. So he is the most valuable guy in the league. And I love his response to this because he is so tickled by it, you can't wipe the smile off Aaron's face.
I love Favre. He's such an interesting, unique guy as well. He shoots from the hip. So, he kind of says what's on his mind all the time. It's fun to be back in touch with him and to have that friendship and that kinship. And I appreciate anything that he says.
You can't wipe the smile off his face. So, first of all, I've said for years, I'm more of an Aaron guy than a Favre guy. I like the way he intellectually approaches the game. But, it's really funny. If they were actors, Favre is John Wayne. Iconic. They name airports after John Wayne. I love Don Cheadle. They don't name airports after him. Iconic, gunslinger, tough guy, hero, successful. Details, sometimes not the greatest actor. But he just sold personality. John Wayne as a kid, was just bigger than the screen. Aaron Rodgers is Christian Bale. Little prickly, little aloof, doesn't get along with everybody, but critically acclaimed, and damn can that guy act. And I love the fact that they're close now. Because this makes me genuinely happy. And I've always been more of an Aaron guy. You don't think that. I think I like the way Aaron approaches the position. And I like Bale more than John Wayne. But there's value in both. If they start naming airports after you, there's value in both. And I love the fact that Brett said it, and you can't take the smile off Aaron Rodgers' face. Greg Cosell, next hour 2.
This is the Herd Line News.
Well, Carson Wentz will be watching from the sidelines this weekend as Jalen Hurts gets his first NFL start on Sunday.
Odd.
Well, it's 2020, so anything's on the board. And his Eagles teammates, Fletcher Cox and Jason Kelsey, are standing up for Wentz and showing their support.
He's my best friend. He's my guy. I've always had his back since day one. And it sucks for a guy like Carson to be put in that position because, like I said, it's never just come down to just one guy. It's 11 guys on the field.
The moment he came in his rookie year, I thought that he transformed our offense. And that's not just him as a player now. That's him as a person. That's him as the intelligence he brings, the athleticism he brings, the competitiveness he brings made a tangible difference in practice every day and on game day.
Both of them said that the decision to move from Wentz to Hurts would not lead to a divided locker room.
Well,
but
I would say this. I think it's really cool that two great players defended Carson Wentz. Now it falls on Doug Peterson to make sure the locker room is not divided. But I will say this, and I think you would agree with me, if they win, it will not be divided. Now the question is, If they beat the Saints this week, I don't think they would. But it's the NFL. We just saw the Giants go to Seattle with Colt McCoy and win. We've seen the Chiefs lose at home to the Raiders. If the Eagles played great and won, I think you just come to terms with, okay, we're still, you know what we'll say Monday? You know the Eagles can win this division. And I think winning solves almost everything in this league.
Winning will solve everything, but I don't think they're going to win. And you can't fool players. I don't really think that's a good sign that they came out so strongly in support of Wentz.
It makes them interesting.
They're the ones that see the practices. They're the ones that know this locker room.
Right.
Those two are leaders on the team and just came out very strongly defending Wentz, saying it's not all his fault. And it's not all his fault.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, what is Doug Peterson supposed to do?
Well, listen, Trubisky got benched, and then he's got his job back. So, I mean, even though I think Philadelphia has done him a disservice with the statue and the drafting Jalen Hurts, people have lost their jobs and come back. It's not, I mean, Mitch Trubisky's come back. Some things in life aren't fair, but they're your reality. So you're going to have to sit on the bench.
Nothing in life is fair, and you're in a very competitive industry.
Yeah.
So I'm on the other side with you with the drafting Jalen Hurts and the statue. But at the end of the day, you have to go out there and perform.
Yeah.
And he's not.
Right.
But hearing this from Fletcher Cox and Jason Kelce is not a good thing to me, because I do think they're going to lose. And then what happens? Now, they're saying it's not going to lead to a divided locker room, but what if they lose 2 in a row? And it's not necessarily in bad fashion. They just lose because they're not as good as the Saints, which they're not.
This is why you get paid a lot to coach. You know, Billy Martin, the great ex-Yankee manager, used to say, 25 players in the locker room. 10 love me, 10 hate me. My job is to keep the 5 who are undecided away from the guys who hate me.
That makes sense. So the Rams will face the Patriots tonight for the first time since their Super Bowl matchup. We have NFL football every day now. That's the new thing.
This is going to be low scoring, I think. Very interesting matchup.
So in that 13-3 loss, the typically explosive Rams offense tied for the fewest points ever in a Super Bowl. It's also the fewest points that the Rams have ever scored under Sean McVay, who called the Super Bowl loss a very humbling night. Jared Goff doesn't look back fondly on that day either. He said there were not very many good memories at that game. Basically, unless you were a Patriots fan, no one has good memories of that Super Bowl.
Well, it was also
an awful watch.
It was the dullest Super Bowl of my life.
It was an awful watch for everyone except for Patriots fans. and actually, I don't know. I think that most Patriots fans would admit that it wasn't a great watch until the end when they won.
Yeah.
It just wasn't. It wasn't enjoyable. But I'm very interested in this game tonight. I mean, they're both coming off of really big wins. Obviously, the Patriots a bigger win than the Rams, but I mean that was still a very significant win over the Cardinals.
If New England's Fox Bets is a 5-point dog, it makes no sense. They stayed in L.A. They're on the road. They don't.
Well, I think that's playing a part in it too, because it's kind of. It is a road game, but you don't have the fans in the stands, so you don't have that element. And they didn't go home after the Chargers game, so they didn't have the travel across the country. They've kind of had some time to chill and relax. It's actually nice and warm here in LA.